It's just a method of working that me and my cinematographer developed. We went to film school together. We know each other from the very first year. And it's something that just naturally started, that all of our films have this pace. I wouldn't say that it is something that we explore when we make our scratch how a film should be. It's just something that we go into the scenery, and then we sort of developed through some years our personal rhythm. And since we both like this slow pace, it's just something that grew naturally. It's more like our language of cinema that we developed through time. But what I can share on why I like it or why it gives something to me is definitely the personal experience, what it does to me and to my mind and to my soul. For me, it's interesting what happens if you go beyond this the time I need to recognize the image. You need some seconds or not even many seconds to recognize this is a shore and there's some waves and it's purple sky, it must be evening or morning. You look at it and then you come often into a state of little boredom, maybe like, yeah, I've seen it, there's just waves coming to the shore, what the fuck. If you're open to overcome this, then you go into a part of the deeper meanings. What happens to you if you look beyond just the information that is in the image? And I think there is a very deep energy in telling the world's truth with that pace. The energy that starts to happen if you look at something longer than what you need to receive the information. To make it short, I think you create in your own mind when you look at an image longer than at the time you need to receive the information. Is that what I'm interested in? I always try to put all the things that are happening. I would like to be able to put them in an Excel file. Like, you know, this is happening, makes me sad. This is happening and I'm losing control, and then I can gain control back if I use this field and combine it with field C. I think life is the other way around. In between there, I think there is the part that interests me the most. So there is a nice quote by a German theater director, and he once said, like, the problem we have as human beings is that we're telling our stories that are predictable and understandable, but life is not predictable and understandable. And in this void, there is like the drama of us being a human being. And this is what interests me for filmmaking. The whole editing process is a process built on intuition. So it was a very long process. Like, there may be some things that are important for me. Since I shoot on film, this movie is shot on Super 16 millimeters. That leads to the point that we don't have that many rushes than when you shoot digital. So you have like a certain amount of hours and you can handle it. It's like not 100 hours. In our case, it was like 13 hours. So I don't make a structure and then I clean out all the rest I don't need. I always work with the full material I have, and then I just check combinations. We did that for 10 months. So the film is not consisting of many edits, as you see. So what we do is we do a first combination, like we really start in the beginning, and then we have 2 images and we change the combination till we have the feeling that something matches, that something echoes. And if we, like me and my editor, we work really close together. If we both have the feeling that there is an echo, we just leave it. We don't try to interpret it, or we don't try to put it in an Excel file. So, and this is how we created the whole film. For sure, you have like the small stories where people talk about something. Mostly, we didn't put them on a timeline saying, this is one turning point 7. We put it like, let's say, on 1 hour 10. Not at all. We just work from one to another. For the films I don't believe in concepts or how you should tell something. This is also why I decided to put that fictional part just on the end. Like, usually you could finish a film there, or you could find a nice ending or whatever, but just put something totally new there and break the law of the film itself. felt for me or for us in that moment right, and that's why we did it. And one example, we work a lot with colors. If I know this image has something reddish, I just go through all of my images and look for all the images that have something in a similar red. We edit a lot just after colors, and yeah, we just try to switch off our logic. And we do that really, really deeply. And if we get stuck, we read poems, we try to nurture ourselves with those other things that like a very nice poem that you also don't understand why it touches you, but it touches you. So I guess the subconscious is a very important. I think mainly because I really don't like film sets. I think trying to find the truth or the realness that I would love to create is for me. And again, I'm just speaking personally. I'm not possible to do this on a film set. And I don't know, there is so much beauty and magic in the reality. My heart is much more connected in also all the things that you cannot plan. And I think there is something that triggers much more for me than creating a story and then creating a set. We went to Taipei 3 times. Like there were 3 shooting periods. The first shooting period is when we discovered the restaurant, and then we started shooting them. And then second period we came back, and what happened? They renovated it. So the restaurant wasn't the same anymore, but also they put a new wall. Before it was more like a cinescope shop, and afterwards it was like this. So we came there, I was like, oh no, it doesn't look anymore like me. In the inside it looked more or less the same. Luckily they didn't like put blue walls, and before they had red walls or something like that. So in the first shooting period, when it was the old restaurant, they had an old Taiwan map on the wall. And it was the only piece they had in the restaurant. They have a deep connection with Taiwan and the island. And then when we came back, they just more or less finished the renovation. And as a present, I gave them a new map. For me, it was clear they need a new map. It's like, it's not even for me and for the image. It was more like sort of a present, something that was still in need to finish the restoring. When they decided to hang it up, it was like, you want to hang it up now? Can you wait 1 more minute? We want to record it. But we didn't do it several. That's also very important for all of my shots. Like none of the shots is retaken. Like we just take the shot as it happens, and then that's it. Like, and even if someone walks out of the frame or my cameraman wasn't on the right position, I never do things again. So they then decided that they want to hang again a Taiwan map, and then we recorded it how they hang. But it was my present for them. To answer your question, it's somewhere in between. For me, it's definitely a film with a certain sadness inside. It's also about the beauty of routines and the beauty of the normal and simple life, but underlying or in between the lines or under certain layers, there is definitely also a worry and a sadness about where late capitalism brought us in the end. And the reason why I decided to shoot this film and this film in this city, in Taipei, what I experienced when I saw these people working in the night was something that was so normal that it astonished me. I live here in Central Europe, or I've been to the US. I know what nightlife means, or life at night, but I have not encountered such a normality in it. And there was the thing that caught my attention, and that brought me to the point that I wanted to make a film about it and come back and explore it. And I think, yes, definitely, it's also a shout into the world to say, look at what became normal. Often, films or documentaries are about something that is very special or very extreme or very sad or very happy. And for me, this thought of shit, this became normal. Like, it's those people, they don't have the feeling that they do a special job or that they do something that is extreme. But I think personally, it is extreme. It's an extreme job, and it's a extreme engagement for a society. And this was what I wanted to be my film about. For me, it was an important point, but this is like my personal political opinion that is for me not very important to underline in big letters in this film, but I would like to create a space of questions. It just doesn't feel right, but I cannot give you an answer, but I can create you a space where you have a moment or 116 minutes where you can resonate with the feelings I felt when I observed it. And I think it was also how many times I got asked why I shoot the film here. Like, no one could understand it. Like, you know, all the customers, like, why you shoot the film here? There's nothing to see here. And for me, there was, or still is, so much to see there. These people are not even seen anymore. It feels like a concrete wall. It's just here, and it stands, and it has to stand. And I don't know how many times I had to explain why I shoot the film in this part of the city as well. And that underlines this thought, I think.